Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we speak to local entrepreneurs and learn about their journey. Welcome to B2B, where we discuss the rise, the fall,
and the kick in the...
No. Family show, we're not going there. All right, I'm Randy with my sidekick,
Craig from That's a Rap Productions.
and today we have with us Matthew Rivera of Zoomin Grommin.
Grooming. Zoomin Grommin.
Tongue-tied. First question.
Why pet grooming?
You stole it from me.
People love their animals, and people spend crazy. They'll pay more for their animals than they'll pay for their kids.
It's true.
To buy the kid or to get... That's a good question.
That's a different question.
You're right, though. They'll spend more on their pet, and that's so important to them. And this Zoomin Grommin, explain it to me. What's the service?
So we're a mobile dog grooming company. The goal was, I guess COVID, everybody got into this mobile, I don't want to leave my house.
I'm not leaving my house. You come to me.
home.
Bring it to me, yeah.
So we're a van that's set up with the dog grooming. With that, we come to your house, we bring your dog outside, we groom it, and we bring it back. Dogs and cats.
So let's talk about the person who's doing the grooming. Tell me about this person.
So the groomers
people.
Yeah. I mean, it's a franchise, so there's multiple locations in multiple areas. And then I own Smithtown, Comac, like it's a geographic
You own
area.
Suffolk County or Western Suffolk?
So technically, I own Long Island, but that's divided into 17 different territories.
17?
17. So I sell the 17. The franchise handles that. Right now, we have 9 of them sold. So there's 9 Zoomin Grommin locations on Long Island. There's 8 more left.
So wait, I just got to ask, those 9 that are sold, what areas are they servicing broadly?
So right now, I'm Smithtown area that, you figure we basically cover the whole island now. The only spot that's not really covered is Nassau County, north and like Port Washington, that area.
Northwestern, the part where nobody wants to go. I have my sister-in-law lives in Bayville, and every time we have to visit them, we got to pack lunch.
But
it's a whole thing.
In my mind, it's a gold mine because the people, they all got money.
And they all love their animals.
It's going to sell, but that's one of the only places. Like right now, we have the whole South Shore of Nassau covered. We have Lindenhurst and this up to like Holtsville area, then we have all of out east covered, and then Smithtown. And we have 2 new locations coming on.
So do you yourself, A, have a dog, or B, cut the dog's hair?
So, funny question. Funny answer.
Okay.
And a funny question.
I do have a dog.
Uh-huh.
Before I owned Zoomin Grommin, I never had it groomed. I just brought it to the bathtub. Now he likes Zoomin Grommin. I like Zoomin Grommin. Well, I like having him groomed because it's easier. We don't get a mess.
Sure. He's happier.
But the funny part of the question is, so in Suffolk County, the only place in the whole United States, they have a weird law. The owner of the company has to be a groomer.
Really?
The owner of the company has to be a groomer.
So everywhere else, all my locations in Nassau County, and I own Connecticut too. All of the ones in Connecticut, you buy the company, you hire groomers.
Right.
In Suffolk County,
you need to be a groomer.
I had to get my grooming license.
So you're a groomer?
On paper. I wouldn't trust me with your dog. But legally, I'm a groomer.
Could you groom my head?
I mean, yes.
Well, yes, not much to work with.
We could figure it out.
That's crazy.
It was a snow. It messed the franchise because they never heard of that.
Yeah.
And it took me, because it's New York, Suffolk County. Like, the paperwork was ridiculous. It probably took me 7 months to get this thing.
And it's strange that they wouldn't know it, but it is.
Nobody,
live and learn.
Well, it's Suffolk County, so they all live on a different plane out there without the sidewalks.
There are places where the groomer has to be licensed. Like, it's not a national thing, so there's no, like, groomer license.
Right.
Some places have, like, tech school, some have this.
Huh.
So they knew that. And, our goal is always to hire a groomer that has 2 or 3 years experience. But they never expected me as the owner that's never going to groom a dog in my life to
Right.
have to
Well,
get
we
the
learned that
license.
you don't really like even shampooing them in a bath, so you're certainly not
Exactly. I had to get dog CPR. I had to get like all of these
Wow.
classes.
You know what? He's
and
good
stuff.
to come over. If you're having holidays, invite him over. God forbid something happens to the dog.
yeah,
you know?
get to the
dog is dead.
He's like, don't piss me.
So I got a great question for you. So my assumption is the same groomer is on the same route, if that's what it's called, same area. So you build familiarity with the dog, with the homeowner. So if I have a regular scheduled groom once a month on a Wednesday, I know X is coming to the house. My dog's excited because they build a rapport, and it all that anxiety
It's gone.
is gone. Right? People hate the dogs. They hate it.
It's
Yeah.
the owners don't have the anxiety of having to going to a shop, walking the dog in, waiting around. The dogs, a lot of the older dogs that can't, they love it. A lot of the dogs that do have anxiety, they're in their driveway, they're in their home.
I keep waiting for them to say 9 out of 10 dogs say we love Zoomin Grommin.
They all love us.
10 out of 10 recommend.
So it's a very good business.
I love it.
The groomers basically build a business in a business.
Nice.
So they
Right.
get to pay a percentage of what we charge, and they build their customer base, they build their routes, they reschedule. So we become, as time goes on, more hands-off.
You're the entrepreneur to the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, groomers are a unique breed of people. They want to cut dogs. They
Yeah.
love dogs.
They're
they
not
love
business
animals.
people. They
don't
love-
want to be a
it's a
business
passion.
person.
They don't want
So they
attention.
want to show up, do their thing. They don't care
Go.
about payroll. They don't care about this.
It's a great fit because you're the
exactly.
opposite.
Exactly.
So I don't know how well you know Matthew.
Not really.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. He is a serial entrepreneur. Okay? So we're talking Zoomin Grommin.
Okay.
But I know that he's involved in other businesses. I know
Really?
Inspection Boys, which we'll talk about, and Main Street Success. Can you give our listeners and Craig a view of what those
Yes.
look like?
So it's perfect for me. I like learning the business and finding the people for the business to run the business. So I have the Inspection Boys, which that was my first franchise. We started that. So
You're a founder.
I'm the founder. We
Wow.
are the franchisors in Inspection Boys.
Should have
How many
dressed up
locations do you have?
We have
Oh, we
about
should.
32 locations.
Wow. National.
National.
Wow.
Mostly on the East Coast.
That's fantastic.
We're growing, but real estate's been kind of funny the last 3 or 4 years.
But that's what it is. It's always peaks and
we're
valleys.
on that
we're in a
downward,
valley.
The roller
hopefully
coaster
we start
ride.
going back up.
Right.
Right.
And then we have Main Street Success, which was like the brainchild of everything. We have other businesses that I'm not talking about, and we needed a place where we could house everything. And we bought a building in Smithtown, and we called it Main Street Success. From that, we basically had this vision that we could teach real estate, we could open up a real estate school, we could do home inspections, we could, any type of...
And you are doing it.
We're doing it all.
You're doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. So we have a real estate school that goes at it. We do a lot of continuing education for home inspectors, for real estate agents. The goal is really to get the right people in the right room.
I love it.
magic happens. I say it all the time. We've done Tony Robbins events. We've done guest speakers in there. So if we could get you in the room and you meet the right people,
Things are going to happen.
Right.
Things are going to happen.
So, as a serial entrepreneur, how do
By
you?
the way, I hate that name, entrepreneur, but yes.
All right. As
Well,
some-
we got to come back to that. I'm going to let that go for a second.
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah.
you ask your question.
So as that kind of person, how do you juggle being that guy and enjoying a family life? How do you?
I guess you could say I realized young that I have a different type of brain. Like I have the ADHD that everybody has. I'm all over the place. So I could snap in and snap out. So I realized that if I could snap in and snap out and find the right people, it works.
Right.
If I don't have the right people, it doesn't
It's
work
a disaster.
at all. It's a nightmare.
Right.
So I'm not going to ask you yet why you don't like that term, but I want to understand your journey because your journey is not that of a typical business owner. You own multiple businesses. As you just said, you've done something wonderful, which is your team runs the business. You're not in the business, you're on the business.
Yeah.
But what was the catalyst? What started that? What did you do?
So I started as a lineman. I worked for the power company, did line work. And then I started with the home inspection was like the first real business. I had little businesses.
Right.
You know, again, I could tell you all the stories about selling candy and other things.
Candy?
in
I love
high
hearing
school.
about selling
no,
candy.
don't start that.
All the stuff, and like I always had some type of little business.
Right, you're always
but
doing something.
When I was a lineman, we made great money. We have great benefits. The first real jump was from when I quit doing line work and became a home inspector. I mean, I didn't quit right away. I did it part-time, and then I seen it had potential. And once I did that, that kind of opened the door.
That was your first company, Inspection Boys? That's when you opened
That
up?
was
That was
the
you?
first real company.
That was you and your friend?
Me and my ex-partner at that time. I started it. It was actually MJM inspections for my kids. Then we...
You have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Right.
And then I met a guy that did franchising, and he was like, let's franchise it. We franchised it, and then he was like, listen, my other franchise, he went from like 30 to like 100 locations in like a year. He's like, I have no time or money, so he basically sold us the rights to the Inspection Boys, and we took that over. That got our foot in the door.
That's fantastic.
We weren't, again, we were taking on too much. The ADD was kicking in. We were franchising. We were doing home inspections. We were doing this. And after like 2 years, I was like, you know what? I don't really want a franchise because I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
Like where
It's a lot of work,
I understand
franchising. It's a lot of work.
Right.
And you're not making money till like year 10.
Right.
Like you think about
your burn
it,
rate is
it's ridiculous.
Right.
We were spending, probably I spent like $200,000-300,000, and I wasn't even like close to even thinking about making any of it back.
Right.
So, over time, I started thinking like, I don't want to do that. Let's just blow up the Inspection Boys in New York
on our own.
On our own, get this to a couple million, and then we could circle back when we have the money and have the time.
Right.
And funny, someone hit me up on LinkedIn, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking to acquire a couple of brands. We like what we see. Can we meet?" And that was the John Hewitt that.
Say that name. You said it very quick. Say it again.
John Hewitt. He was.
You recognize the name John Hewitt?
I don't.
What do you
Jackson
live under a
Hewitt
rock?
Tax Service.
Oh, okay.
Liberty Tax Service.
Sorry about him.
Yeah.
It's all right. So
I'm just here for a face.
He was, he's a big guy in the franchising world.
Okay.
Probably sold 5,000 to 10,000 locations.
Okay.
And he had a big plan that he wanted to basically take other brands outside of the tax world and create almost like a franchise system where we could replicate it. So they took 10 of us on. And we ended up, I learned a lot. They took over the franchise side, and we took over the training side, and that's what got me into Zoomin Grommin. It got me thinking systems, processes,
Right.
Find the right people, get all this stuff in place. So it was kind of like they mentored us.
Now, Randy always, Randy's taught me a thing or two. And one of the things that I think really holds true to me is business, things don't always go smoothly and mistakes will happen from time to time. But what he likes to say is that judge me not by my mistakes, but how I fix them, right? So what was one mistake that you think had to happen in your career to become the person you are today?
Everything. I mean, all the mistakes.
All
they
the
all add
lessons.
up. I mean, across the board. Again, they're not mistakes now because I learned from them. So
Smart.
I can't say like, I've had bad business partners. I had people, I've had good partners, I've had bad partners, and I had ones that were great people, but they weren't the right partner.
Right.
And those are the worst. And, I've, of course, made bad money decisions. I learned, a lot of stuff you do with emotion. And you got to start thinking more strategically and say, okay, look, I know I really want to do this. I know it can't, like, again, if you're all over the place and you got the shiny whatever,
The shiny objects are
shiny
distracting
objects,
you.
you're like, oh, everything can be successful, but you have to sit back and be like, well, how much am I going to have to invest in it? Is it time? Is it money? Is it energy? And am I going to be the only one that's actually doing this? So like now the biggest thing I've taken away is I have a check sheet on my phone that anytime I have an investment or a business idea or something, I go through it. And I make sure like it fits everything that I want to do.
Smart.
Smart.
It's like the North Star. It's North Star.
Yeah.
I want to jump into everything, but I
can't.
don't have that much time and energy no more.
No,
If you're
and plus you're. I'm sorry.
No.
Plus you're a family guy.
Yeah.
So as much as being an entrepreneur, which you don't like being called a serial entrepreneur, or you don't like being called an entrepreneur.
You know what? I kind of went down like a lot of TikTok rabbit holes, and like the entrepreneur word is like, it's like clashy. Like, everybody's got a Lamborghini and like everybody just starts a podcast or a website. And,
Hey. No, I'm just joking.
And then all of a
but
sudden,
I get what you're
but
saying.
like, it's
Yeah.
like, again, like for me, most people aren't entrepreneurs. Most people are business owners.
Correct.
I get it.
So that's where like, like I'm an entrepreneur. Like I have different businesses. I'm all over the place.
Right.
Most
and
entrepreneurs.
you're not afraid.
And I'm not afraid.
And you're not
and
afraid.
that's a big thing that like most entrepreneurs, like again, like you'll see a lot of times like the entrepreneur is always usually the brokest one because he's putting it all on the line, going after 10 different things.
Right.
That's me. Most of the other people that are like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. No, they own a business. They
Right.
own one business. They
Right.
focus on one business,
Right.
and they do great at it. But you're not.
not an
So that's why
entrepreneur.
kind of the
Gotcha.
word drives me.
And I get it. And I'll tell you something else that he does that I know for a fact because we kind of are in the same circle. It's the education. Like you never stop learning. When I've been to events with you, whether it be personal, we're sitting around, we bump into each other, or we're at a business event, learning to you is so important. And I've heard you tell people you need to do the Wharton Business School.
Yeah, That's so every year I try to sign up for 1 or 2 big learning events and as many little as I can. I'm all about learning. Even with the franchise, all the businesses, my goal, like if I buy a franchise, I just bought 2 more franchises. I don't even want to talk about them, but my thing is I learn the system. I get the training. I'm going to fly out to Arkansas or something in February. I have a week training for the new franchise I bought. I'm doing that so I understand the business.
Right.
And I learn, I see their systems, what's working for them, and I see if I can replicate it in other businesses. Right. And then it's passed on. So, learning is key. Like, if you're not learning,
If you're not learning, you're dying.
You're dying.
Right.
You're dying.
Right. If you're just tuning in too here to WBB, we're sitting here with Matt Rivera with Zoomin Grommin, the ultimate entrepreneur. You like that, right? No, he doesn't. So obviously, technology has changed since you started your business. What's been the biggest help in that?
I mean, technology is crazy right now. I'm between all the businesses. Again, I try to get like a CRM system or something that runs the business.
Do they like HubSpot? I'm just picking that one. I know it can run.
They do and they don't, like, because again, a lot of them are franchises, so the franchise
need to
picks
use
the
that.
system.
Yeah.
But between the technology that comes out with them and the AI that's coming out, it's just ridiculous.
AI is insane.
Again, for me, I have a lot of thoughts up here, but getting them out is hard. So I'm able to use AI to talk to it, and it creates what I'm saying. That's why I might be mumbling now.
No, you're speaking.
AI is not here.
But that's talking to the AI app. What? So now you have these multiple businesses under your belt. What gives you a sense of accomplishment? Is that sense of accomplishment daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? I mean, what is it for you that?
So I have a couple different gauges. So one of the things that really changed me was when I met John Hewitt. His line to me at the point was like, I made 75 millionaires. And I thought, yeah, whatever. Like, that's marketing.
Right.
But then after I met, like, not 75, 7,500. No, 750. Then after I met...
So what was it?
Which one was it?
750 millionaires. And then after I met, like, 100 of them...
You realize it's
I'm
true.
like, this is true. Like, he's changing lives.
That's awesome.
So, like, for me, like, I want to create that, life-changing thing where, again, am I helping the groomers out? Am I helping people out? Like, it's not about the money. Of course, I like money. I like spending it. But how many lives can I change?
So that's interesting that you're saying that because, we all want to make money. I get it. But here you are in a great situation. You learned about a great opportunity in Zoomin Grooming. You realize that there's some great people that love their animals. They love dogs, but they're not entrepreneurial. They'll never connect that dot. Mm-hmm. And they'll always work for somebody. And you said, I'm going to help that. I'm going to bring this to Long Island. I'm going to put non-entrepreneurs in business and make them entrepreneurs without them even realizing it.
Right.
Exactly. And it's both sides. So like I got 9 locations that are on Long Island.
Right.
I got the people that are like, well, I love dogs, but I don't want to ever groom a dog, but I want to own a business. And they buy it and they hire the groomers and they're doing great.
But they have to be a groomer too now.
Only in Suffolk County.
Only in Suffolk County.
And we've been using my license because they're under us. So it's
So I
tricky.
think next time what we're gonna do, we're gonna come see you again. We're gonna go to your house and we're gonna watch you groom your dog.
That's
what we're gonna make you groom.
I'm gonna be arrested. But yeah, so like Connecticut, after I did Long Island, and I mean we're only 18 months old on Long Island.
Right.
My friend in Connecticut's seen it, and he loves dogs, and he's like, let's do it to Connecticut. So we bought Connecticut. He bought a truck. And he's like the opposite of me. Like
he's doing it.
He's not grooming, but he's like hands-on. He's got a warehouse. He's got the trucks in there. He's always tinkering. And I mean, his numbers show. Like he's probably doing 5 times more than I'm doing in half the amount of time because he's so passionate about dogs.
And he's got laser focus on that business.
Like, you know, he's at the dog shows. He's walking dogs. He's bringing his dog with him. Like, he's got the passion there. So it help like those. It gives you an avenue for those people. And then the groomers that, hey, I just want to groom dogs and help people.
Yeah.
There's an avenue. So it helps everybody.
And people are going to do it. It's like I want to be a rock star. Yeah, all right. So does everybody.
Yeah.
But here you really get the shot to be the rock star.
Exactly. And
it's awesome.
It works. It works for multiple people.
Can we go quite often to our people that we've met on the podcast. We'll go to their businesses and just take a look around. I would love if you would have us. I'd love to videotape the inside of what one of those trucks look like, so that somebody can understand what that is.
What the process and procedure is. Now, can someone? You have like an app where people can just book an appointment, or do they have to call?
Have an app.
Yeah.
So most of the time, the app will get you like 90% of the way. We do finish it with the first phone call, just because there's some questions we want to verify with you. We want to make sure that your dog's up to date on its shots and has whatever. But after the first one, you could just go on the app and hit reschedule.
So tell us how a dog owner or a cat owner can get in touch of Zoomin Grommin.
They could just Google Zoomin Grommin.
Do you have a website?
Yes.
What is it called?
ZoominGrommin.com.
And what's the phone number?
I have no idea.
Perfect. Call information.
Well, here's the thing. Again,
to the
since it's
website.
franchises, there's 10 different numbers on Long Island.
Right.
And you guys have an Instagram and stuff too?
We have Instagram. We have Facebook. We're on everything.
You guys are putting out reels.
We put out. So again, the franchise puts out a lot of stuff, and then each location puts out different ones. So if you go type in Zoomin Grommin, there's going to be 20 pages, and you can see stuff from us. You can see stuff from other people, and there's some people that are better at it than others.
Of course.
But yeah.
So in your world, if you sell a franchise to a groomer, they're responsible for their own advertising, or are you doing that for them? Or a combination?
It's a combination. So the franchise handles a lot of, back end stuff. They'll do we have a social media app where we could schedule stuff. They'll schedule a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but they don't know that there's in Eisenhower Park, there's a dog festival. They don't
exactly. It doesn't make it personal.
Right.
So if you only count on the franchise, you're not going to be successful. But again, it's one of those businesses compared to everything else. Work is so easy.
Yeah.
I could go on Facebook today and post a picture of my dog and say, anybody need a groom, and I'll get 4 people
like
hit
that.
me up.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't do that with home inspections.
No.
I can't do that with real estate. You got to fight for it.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because at Egress Pros, what we started doing, we realized, yes, now we're saving the lives of the home, the people in the home, but dogs. If your house is on fire and you say, oh my God, Ruby's in there, the fire department says, how many legs does Ruby have? If you say 4, they're not going back in for Ruby. So we started installing egress for pets, pet egress.
Wow.
Doggy doors that are very important, because a fire can happen if you're not home.
Right.
100%.
And we all love our animals.
Yeah.
Love our animals. We love our animals.
I mean,
So-
that's one of the things with the business that so many people have dogs. If we're not the right company for you, go move on.
There's plenty of
There's plenty of dog groomers. You find the one you like. Like, people call me up and they'll have some special dog that needs a special cut. And I'm like, well, we could try, but if we're not the right one, I have no hard feelings. Move on to the next one.
I get it.
Right.
Some people spend $200 every 2 or 3 weeks because they're crazy.
Right.
Not crazy. I love those people, but
crazy good customers.
Yeah, the best customers in the world. But again, they want the groomer they like. They want
Right.
the
Of
same
course.
cut. And if we could provide
What
that,
do your people complain about? What dog is it? I picture like a Chihuahua. You just they're torture, barking and biting.
the little dogs that are they
little
they
ones.
complain about them, and now they complain about like the custom dogs with all these custom haircuts. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
they're different levels and different things.
I want to make her look like a
and
Q-tip.
again, at the end of the day, like there's only so much we could charge.
Right.
And some of these dogs take so much time. Like
Right.
we could come in, like they love the pit bulls are the best. They come in, they're not even grooming them. They wash them up.
And they're ready to go.
They're ready to go. They're in and out in 25, 30 minutes. They love it. But then you got these custom dogs that will charge you a couple $100 and we're still there for 5 hours.
you're there forever.
No one makes money.
Right.
So,
But the dog looks terrific.
the dog looks great. The dog's happy. But again, they're like,
You know what
I
I've
don't
been seeing a lot on social media? I see that people are taking their dogs and they kind of like paint them like they look like Scooby Doo.
We've got to ask that, but
You don't do that?
we don't. Well,
No.
because again, the mobile, then we're gonna get paint everywhere, and then
Look, there's a
He
right,
might start doing that. By
there's
the
a,
way,
there's a right butt for every seat, right?
Yeah,
so
no, that's true.
Matt,
again, we're not at that level. We don't do that yet.
All right, in
Thank-
time,
Maybe.
and maybe by the time you're doing that, you'll know the phone number or something. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
So let's once again ZoominGrommin.com right now. Suffolk County, all of Suffolk County, we can service you. But what I love about what Matt's saying, be an entrepreneur. If
Yes.
you're listening to us and you love animals and you're looking for something to do, call Matt Rivera at Main Street Success in
Smithtown.
Is there a phone number for that place, or you don't know it?
Yeah.
All right, Main Street. He doesn't know phone numbers. He knows. It doesn't matter. But that's funny. I love it. But please, you're laying in bed right now. You're debating what to do. You love animals. What better? And what a great feeling when that dog or cat comes out of that truck. I guarantee you, the homeowner's smiling ear to ear. It's a win-win-win.
I look at some of the pictures we take, and I'm like, I want to go cut that dog's hair. Like, yeah,
But we don't want you cutting the dog's
No, we
hair.
don't. But I just want to go play with that
Right,
dog. I
that's
want to
better.
roll around
That's
with
better.
it.
That's
You know,
better.
like yeah.
So what's next for you?
So I have another company. My goal is the dog grooming, the new franchise I bought, which is
If you don't want to share, you don't have to yet.
it's an Italian shaved ice truck.
Nice.
Another mobile
Nice.
truck.
Nice.
And then I have a traffic control company. Is really to focus on those three.
Right.
So next year is really just laser focused on those three.
And Inspection Boys is part of that.
Right.
Inspection board, yeah, but that's the.
But that's
franchise
kind of
world.
going.
That's going, and that has all the people in place.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
You know, the new franchise still needs the people.
TLC. and
TLC.
people.
My traffic control company is absolutely blowing up. That's another one that like where you say, how do I measure it? We had a Christmas party yesterday, and I've had people that work for me for 5 years. You know, that I've never thought like, hey, they've been here 5 years. They're gonna be lifers. Like,
Wow.
they want to grow. They're making good money. This is their career.
Right.
And I'm giving it to them.
So
And
awesome.
It was surreal. Like me and my 3 partners, I'm like, you guys believe like everyone in this room works for us?
Right.
And
Amazing.
the funny thing was, my 2 other partners, no one even really knows.
You're the face.
I'm half the face, but half the people didn't. Like, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know those people work for us. They were like, I didn't know anyone in this room worked for us. So it was like one of those really cool moments where
That's
we're like,
excellent.
wow, like we created a newsletter, and every month we call out like, hey, this person's been here since day one, or so like it again.
So you're
changing
building
lives.
the culture, the team. Listen, you and I know each other about 3 or 4 years. I think you're an amazing individual.
Thank you.
I think that
Yeah.
more than the fact that you're an entrepreneur that hates being called an entrepreneur, more than that, it's your ability to help people. It's you're approachable. You've always been at every level of someone's career that I've seen when they approach you. You're like an open book. You'll help them.
Yeah, that's-
And that's what it's about. And
Yeah.
that's awesome. And that's what Long Islanders do for each other. Hey, listen, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. ZoominGrommin.com, Main Street Success, Inspection Boys. This is the man. And Craig has one thing he's going to say as we exit out. You ready?
That's a wrap.
Bingo. My man.
Love it.
Thank you for tuning in to B2B with Randy and Craig. Looking forward to hanging with you next week.